Hi, everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. It's 23rd and I'm still here. Have you heard anything? Because I haven't yet. Okay, I'm going to give it 48 hours. But last night, this is what I saw a lot of people talking about on TikTok. Okay, and it's about Cardi B's pregnancy and a podcast called The Read. Okay, so let's get into it quickly.
Okay, so y'all know how last week Cardi B released her long-awaited sophomore album and then also announced that she was pregnant with her fourth child with boyfriend Stefon Diggs. And then The Read dropped their latest episode where they talked about Cardi's pregnancy announcement, and Crissel critiqued her decision to have another child while coming out with the album and then promising to go on tour even though she would be only months post having a baby, in a way that people felt was pretty excessive and harsh, which turned into many think pieces on every social media platform on if what Crissel said was necessary, or at least the way she said it was necessary. Well, not only has Crissel responded to some of the backlash that she's getting online, but Cardi B has responded to what Crissel said on this episode, and I'm going to recap it all for y'all now. And in case you guys didn't catch what Crissel said on that episode, she first questioned Cardi's judgment as a mother, noting that she already has 3 children with Offset, a man she has openly said she hates and once admitted she went to on a live while still not being divorced from him. Then she argued that Cardi choosing to have another child with a new partner that she is still, quote, getting to know was irresponsible. Then she suggested that Cardi's career was suffering because of her pregnancies, saying her post-baby performance after she had her first child had been boring, that she relied on gimmicks and dances rather than real stage presence, and then mocked her for possibly planning to have a surgery before a tour instead of truly rehearsing because she would be recovering from having a child. But the comments that she made that many listeners felt like crossed the line from just commentary to cruelty is her calling Cardi a dumb bitch and speculating that she could pass away from doing a mommy makeover that she hasn't said she was going to do after having this child. So of course this clip of The Read goes extremely viral, and like I said earlier, there were a lot of think pieces on kind of Crissel's delivery and what she was saying. A lot of people were not disagreeing with what she said, but how she said it felt like she was very parasocial with her commentary, with a lot of people pointing out that as a licensed therapist that they assume is seeing clients, Crissel should not be talking like that. But in a video that Crissel posted to her TikTok, someone responding to the growing criticism online, she clarified that she is actually not a licensed therapist and never actually planned to practice therapy, explaining that although she holds a master's degree in mental health counseling, she pursued it to better understand her own therapy, not as a career path, and therefore is not bound by therapist ethics or professional standards. And then insisted that her stance around, celebrities having a lot of children was consistent, pointing out that she had just dragged Nick Cannon and Cam Newton in the same episode for having children in chaotic situations. Then doubled down that her priority is always concern for children, not the celebrity parent, and said that her education in child psychology has only made her firmer in those beliefs. And then really kind of brushed off the outrage as largely coming from Cardi superfans, saying she welcomed the engagement and even admitted that it was exhilarating to have so many people angry at her at once. Then last night, while on a Twitter space, Cardi B responded to Crissel's comments directly. She said that while people are free to critique her music, fashion, or even some of her career moves, nobody could ever question her motherhood because it's a role that she takes the most pride in. Cardi then explained that she lives with her children in New Jersey, sees them every day, and has raised them to be affectionate and attached to her, which she said proves she's present in their lives despite her busy career. She also rejected the idea and assumption that her kids are being raised by nannies, pointing out that like any other mother with a 9-to-5, she sometimes sacrifices time away, but always ensures that they feel loved and cared for. And then reminded folks that when she went on tour when Culture was a baby, she brought her with her and continues to balance her career with her children's needs. Cardi also addressed Crissel's speculation about the plastic surgery she's had in the past after giving birth, saying that it was unfair for Crissel to claim she risked her life on the operating table when after giving birth to Wave, she waited 2 years before getting any procedures, and that since having Blossom, she hasn't had any surgery at all. Then she said what she found the most disturbing was Crissel's remarks suggesting that she might pass away during a mommy makeover, describing it as a dark and nasty thing to say about a mother of 4. Then she wrapped up her response stressing that her children are smart, loved, and have everything she never had growing up, and that while people may have their own expectations for how she should live, she is happy with her choices and will never let anyone diminish her pride in being a mother.
I'm having a baby with somebody else. So what? That happens. It's life. Let me tell you something. I did things the correct way the first time. I fell in love. I got 2 rings in my finger. I lasted 7 years. 7 years that I didn't have to last with somebody with. I lasted 7 years in a marriage. Stop saying, oh, but you're still married. No, I'm legally separated. The only reason why I'm still married is because somebody wants me to pay for the taxes. Y'all want to know the tea?
Yes.
The only way I could get out of my marriage if I pay for somebody else's taxes, even though I pay for my own, and give them one of my properties. I'm fighting for that. I'm gonna fight for that. This is not no love shit. And like I said, I'm not gonna stop living my life because on a contract, I'm practically still married because somebody want to hold me hostage if I don't give them millions of dollars to get out of it. I'm going through in life. However, I'm not going to live my life. Y'all want me to remarried and stuff, to have another baby and stuff like that? I'm doing things what makes me happy.
So this one has got mixed opinions. Now, some people are saying that they agree with the host, Crissel, but for everything she said about Cardi B and she being reckless with her womb and having a child with Stefan Diggs, while still being legally married to Offset, and also she not considering the children that she's having. She's just popping out children without considering them and the kind of life she's going to give them. While others are like, she has money, she's not like us, okay, she's rich and so on and so forth. And they believe that Crissel went far with some of the things that she said on the podcast. We are going to get into that. You're going to hear it for yourself. While others are like, the podcast is called The Read for a reason, okay? They do read people there, and Cardi B is not the first person they have ever talked about. Matter of fact, they've spoken about a lot of celebrities, Chris Brown, the Kardashians, and the list is tall, okay? That's what they do. They say their opinions about them, so they don't understand why people are coming for their podcast, okay? They don't get it. They don't get why this has gone this way, because this is what the podcast is all about, and they expect people to understand that the read means you're going to be read. If they call your name, it's like, yo, Priscilla, come here right now. You know, let me tell you about something that you're doing that I don't like. But you leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments, and let's get into it.
Imagine losing your job because you couldn't stop buying cupcakes, and then turning around and telling Cardi B what she can spend her time and money on. Now, before we can get into Crissel and her stealing money from her company for them cupcakes, let's get into her latest episode of her podcast. Now, in their latest episode of the podcast, they talk about Cardi B and why it's basically a bad decision for her to have additional children, which is kind of weird.
You never heard of the IUD? You never heard of the pill? You decided to get pregnant by the nigga you cheated on your husband with? Why? This is just dumb bitch shit. This is so stupid. You are bringing a whole new person into the world, girl. It's not playtime. It's not that ugly ass little boo-boo Kid Fury just got. It's not some toy you can just toss around and it don't matter how it feel about nothing. It don't matter about its circumstances. This is a human being.
Being this impassioned about another person's body is kind of psychotic. You know what else is psychotic? Scamming. Because why was you stealing money from your job for your cupcake business, Crystal? But don't worry, she continues.
Leave this dumb bitch. Of all the time, you had so much time to push out however many kids you wanted to. You chose the most pivotal moment, getting ready to release your sophomore album and finally go on tour because you canceled it the last time. Why? Kids. Finally do that shit. And now you're like, oh, as soon as I'm ready. I've been stretching. I'm getting my body ready. You getting ready to go lay down and pray that mommy makeover don't kill you like it do so many other women. And then do you a little boom cack 1-2 sidestep on that tour. I hope you girls are ready for her to give you nothing.
The body shaming, the mommy shaming, right? The surgery shaming. It's giving like loser energy. Sometimes it's the audacity for people, because I had to look up this woman. I'm like, who is this speaking? And then I saw her, and then I just went down a tiny rabbit hole and found out about all the fraud and the scams that she was doing. And I'm just like, it couldn't have been the worst person. I have no idea what women's obsession is with what Cardi B does with her millions and her body. I have never understood that fascination. But if I looked like this, I too would be obsessed with the woman who had it all. And the entire takeaway of that full episode is, why have they not changed the show from the read to the haters? Because that's all it gave.
I agreed with everything that Crissel said on the read. I actually had to have a conversation like that not too long ago with multiple family members. And I also say that as somebody that I was a foster care social worker. So I saw firsthand the damage that, is done to children when parents make reckless decisions on bringing life into this world. And I definitely think we need to start asking people more, why do you want children? Instead of asking child-free people, why we don't want children, why do you want children? And just because you want a child, you need to ask yourself, does a child want you? Like, take the adults out of it. We are talking about a life that did not ask to be here. Like, yeah, a lot of people bring children into horrible situations, and that's okay to say. People got to get out their feelings because it is what it is.
I actually listened to the podcast because unlike a lot of commentators on here, I want to see the whole scope of things and I don't want to take anybody out of context. I'm familiar with the podcast. I'm familiar with how she talks. Unfortunately, that's not something that I want to subscribe to. And unfortunately, with context and also hearing the Nick Cannon portion of it, honestly, for me, it made it worse. It made it worse because not only are you talking about Nick Cannon, but you're talking like this. And then when you start talking about Cardi, you start talking like this. And I didn't like that. To me, that just was like completely like woven with misogyny and I didn't like it. If you want to talk about who's the worst in this whole scenario relationship, it's not Offset and it's not Cardi. Honestly, it's Stefan. And why not talk about Stefan or Stefan or however you pronounce his name? Not only did you approach a woman in a vulnerable state, meaning that she was transitioning out of a long-term relationship, but not only did you get her pregnant, but you got several other women pregnant this past year. And that, allegedly, and that is extremely irresponsible. If you want to talk about Nick Cannon, then just talk about somebody else who's also moving irresponsibly. Let's talk about Stefan, but she didn't do that. And you wonder why? Because misogyny, babe. If we want to talk about somebody that's putting their career on the back burner in order to be a mother, why not mention Rihanna? We've been waiting and waiting and waiting, but every single time we get an inch closer to R9, baby, she pregnant again. Why not transition into that? Why not talk about that? Why not use that as a comparison? You won't. You keep with this whole like, oh, you're making a broken home. You're doing this, you're doing that. The baby's already on the way. What do you want her to do? What do you want her to do? You would have rather she had an abortion for your benefit? Do y'all understand how crazy that is? You're a consumer and you think that you have control over somebody's body, or you should have a say-so in somebody's body, or that person should be thinking of you, the consumer, when they're trying to decide whether or not they should have a baby? Are you crazy? Respectfully, Cardi B is nothing like Nick Cannon. Cardi B was married and had 3 children, and unfortunately is going through a divorce right now, got a boyfriend, and that boyfriend got her pregnant. And they're still currently going through a divorce. She has an album rollout, and she has whatever else going on. Nick Cannon, not the same. Nick Cannon sought out vulnerable women who were willing to be his concubine for however much money a month and have his children. Nick Cannon is moving way more nefarious than Cardi B is. So there's no comparison. She should have went hard. If she's going to go hard on somebody, go hard on the men. But at the end of the day, it takes 2 people to make a baby. So whatever.
I already knew people on social media were like extremely hypocritical and super performative when it came to certain things and topics. But when it comes to this whole Cardi B situation and her being pregnant by Stefan, it has jumped out like even more because you have like a certain group of people who are quick to tell everybody that's talking about it, oh, why are y'all in her business? I can never be this concerned about somebody's business. That's her business. Y'all need to mind your business, and things like that. And those types of things really gets on my nerves when it comes to things like this, because Cardi's business is all over the internet. She's a public figure. Do it make it right for her business to be all over the internet? No, but it's been all over the internet ever since she popped up on the scene and chose to become a public figure. That's what comes with it. And she's not the only public figure whose business gets talked about. That's why we have talk shows. That's why the internet is even here. People talk about people's business all the time. And let's take it out of the scope of being a public figure. Those same people who say stuff like that are also the ones saying, oh, the people judging Cardi, they got 3 baby daddies, they got 4 baby daddies, this, that, and the third. Exactly. Y'all still judge them. Y'all still judge them. The only reason you feel like Cardi is above judgment is because she's a celebrity, she has money, and you relate to certain decisions that she has made, whether you agree with them or not. Not only do you judge that girl down the street who has 3 baby daddies, you talk about them too. They get talked about. It's bigger with Cardi because she's on a bigger scale, but they get talked about. You're not minding your business when you're talking about them. So, I mean, why do you think that a public figure, a rapper who got up here and announced something like that is like exempt from being talked about? I'm not understanding. But another reason why it's also performative is the same people that are jumping through hoops to like defend Cardi, which I don't even necessarily feel like this is a decision we're defending. Like, it is her body, it is her choice. People are allowed to like come to the conclusion that it was a very reckless decision, because it was. We get on this app all the time and talk about how people feel like they don't take having kids seriously enough. We talk about it all the time because there are multiple women who get up here who have kids in less than favorable circumstances and y'all tear them to shreds. But because Cardi has money, it makes it okay. Because Cardi is getting her get back on Offset, it makes it okay. Like, that's what I mean by performative, because the same creators who were just up here talking about the next person for being like pregnant with their sixth child, homeless, don't know who this daddy is, don't know who this daddy is. A creator got up here and said, if somebody sat up here and did a story time about the fact that, oh, I just divorced my cheating ass husband, but I had a third baby by him and she's not even one yet, but now I'm pregnant by my new boyfriend who I've only known for less than a year, y'all would tear them to shreds. But because it's Cardi and because she has money, nobody is allowed to say that what she did is a pretty reckless decision. I mean, it is. It is. It's her decision though. And it don't make nobody know, never mind. She does have the money to take care of her kids and she does seem like a great mother, but you can't tell me that the decision isn't reckless, because at the end of the day, this is not about get back at a cheating husband. This is a life. This baby has to grow up. This baby has to be a functioning adult in society. How many times have celebrity kids got on here and because we think that they have money, they're oh so good, but they've got up here and expressed how the money didn't change anything. The money doesn't replace the love. The money doesn't replace the support. The money doesn't replace the circumstances. I don't understand how y'all aren't seeing that. And I do like Cardi. I like her a lot, but I feel like because she's funny and because she feigns ignorance a lot of time, y'all coddle her a lot. And also the fact that she is a light-skinned Afro-Latina, does she identify as Afro-Latina? I'm a light-skinned woman who is not all the way black. She gets coddled way more, because when it came to Halle, y'all ripped her to shreds. Baby Tate, y'all ripped her to shreds. Flo Milli, y'all ripped her to shreds. But because it's Cardi now is, oh, that's her body. She can have a baby if she wants to because she has money and like, you know, she can take care of her kids. Did y'all not say the same thing about Nick Cannon when he was popping out babies left to right, left to right, left to right, and was getting on the people that said it was very irresponsible for him to be doing that? And y'all were telling us, oh, he has money. Why do you care? Is his pockets stay out of rich people's business? Only for him to get up here, not even, what was that, last week, and say that it wasn't a irresponsible decision because it was all based out of trauma. Like, but okay, y'all feel like this is the upgrade. And also why it's reckless, I think people are forgetting. Nobody cares when people are bringing up the topic of she's not even divorced yet when it comes to Offset. I don't even really care about that because that man was terrible. But you went and you picked someone who is not all that much better. This man has like 3 other women pregnant right now. His whole team said that they would not want their sister dating this man. And you came at JT for dating Uzi and like, you know, being gay, but your man has gay allegations too. Like, pot meat kettle. Pot meat kettle.
I'm 54, about to be 55 tomorrow, and I am old enough to mind my own damn business. Now, somehow today, my FYP is Cardi versus Crissel, or whoever the hell Crissel is, who had a lot to say on the read talking about Cardi's pregnancy. Here's the thing. I'm old enough to mind my own damn business. I don't care if she's having her 4th baby. You know why? Because I don't have to take care of it. I'm not the morality police. Because when I was growing up, people were on your back if you got pregnant out of wedlock. But they were also on your back that abortion was a bad thing. And oh my God, they talk trash if you gave a baby up for adoption. So what is it? If you get pregnant and have it, you're going to talk about me. If I get pregnant and get rid of it, you're going to talk about me. Women are damned if they do and damned if they don't. And then they'll use excuse, oh, what about all these broken homes? Marriage does not guarantee that your kids won't be raised up in a broken home. Because guess what? Divorce happens. Death happens. What children need the most is a stable, loving parent. And Cardi appears to be very loving and very loyal to her children and ready to do whatever she's got to do to provide for them. Was this latest pregnancy The best timing? Probably not. Was Cardi probably shocked and surprised? Probably. She hinted so in her interview with Gayle. But she made the adult decision to deal with the consequences of her own actions. And you can sit in your chair and pass judgment and do whatever the hell you want to do. But you know what? Ultimately, it's her life and her choice. And she don't have to give a fuck what you saying about her. Because she's minding her own damn business. As always, I'm sending peace, love, and good vibes. Oh, side note, you're also a lot happier when you mind your own business.
I'm going to say this and I'm going to go right back to minding my business. So I listened to this whole episode this morning. I don't know how you niggas are mad. I really don't. I'm so confused. Like, I've never seen the reaction of a read I've never seen y'all act like this after an episode of this show. I like, what the fuck is going on? Y'all are acting so new right now, and I'm real lost. This isn't even the first Cardi B pregnancy that Kid Fury and Crissel have even mentioned on the show. So what? I'm confused. Cardi B is not new to this. Like, people were going to have opinions about this pregnancy. Was the read mean? That's kind of the point of the show. It's the read. It's not called Let's Work Through Your Feelings. Like, what the... If y'all are not avid listeners, if y'all are not fans of the show, or y'all falling off, say that shit. But to fix y'all's faces, to like actually have this vitriol behind this real conversation that made sense, because it was a segue how y'all let niggas do the exact same thing. They were talking about Nick Cannon and how he's just spreading his shit far and wide. They talked about Kim Kardashian while she was still pregnant to another nigga. Y'all didn't say anything. And then after North got here, Kim was dragging her all up and down New York Fashion Week dressed like a baby prostitute, and you niggas didn't say anything about that. They talk about Chris Brown, Trey Songz, JT, Ice Spice, Saweetie. Like, nobody's off limits and have never been, but y'all reacting this way to Cardi B because what? New nigga, new album, new baby? What's the problem? I listened to that episode and I was like, this sounds like Kid Fury and Crissel circa 2017, 2018. One of my favorite episodes of The Read was when they dragged the fuck out of Chris Brown for some other abusive bullshit thing that he did. I don't fucking know. They talked about Keke Palmer and Keke Wyatt. Like, we watched Cardi B get pregnant and then go on tour and then cancel shows because she had a baby. Nothing Crissel said wasn't behavior that we haven't just watched her do 3 times. I'm just so confused. Talked about mom shaming. I'm okay, fair. Where was all of this when they were criticizing Ciara? Where was this energy when they had words for Khloe Kardashian, Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, all of the baseball, basketball, football players who do the same? Where is y'all's energy when they have the same reads for people who just aren't Cardi B? Y'all coming on here talking about, oh, she's so mad, she's so mad. It's Crissel West.
Honestly, I have learned a lot. In the last 2 years, I started making YouTube videos. I've learned a lot. To be honest, I love this type of content. Bringing other people's takes and opinions and perspective about certain topics and issues. Like, it's really good because you get to learn from other people's wisdom or knowledge about certain things or certain issues. And I'm here for it, okay? Because honestly, for me, the reason why I didn't post about that, one, because a lot of people were talking about it already, and I assumed you may probably have seen it. And two, I was not necessarily happy about it. I thought, if I'm being very honest, I thought it was just going to be like a boyfriend girlfriend thing, and she's just having fun and so on and so forth. And that was what I thought it was going to be. Okay, so when I first heard about her actually confirming that she's pregnant, I was like, oh my god, why Why would she do that? Especially because I've seen and heard a lot of things about the guy. Okay, so I felt like it wasn't the right move. Okay, but then again, I saw a lot of people talking about it, saying that she has the means, she has the money, she has the support, so the children are going to be okay. Whatever she decides to do with her life, with her womb, with her career, is on her. But then others are like, no, it's because a lot of people look up to her. Okay, so they will expect her to do better now, especially because everything about her life has played out in front of everybody. People expect her to do better with the next guy that comes into her life, and that is where I was also coming from. I said in most of my previous videos about her situation with Offset that I wish she would find somebody like Ciara did, and so on and so forth. That's what I want for her. So for her to end up, going this part, I was not necessarily feeling it. Let me just say that. Let me just be honest about it. But then at the same time, I understand that it's not my life, it's her life. Okay, and she has the resources, she has the means. So hey, who am I to judge? So at the end of the day is going to end, and it is what it is. Okay, whether you agree with her, whether you disagree with her, she's doing whatever she wants to do. All right, so hey, it is what it is. However, I'm still waiting another 40. Today is the 23rd, tomorrow is the 24th, and then Thursday is the 25th. So by that time, by Thursday, we're going to know the people who got to go to heaven and those who didn't get to go to heaven. And if I hear anything, I'm going to update you on that. But you leave your thoughts and opinions about all of this, and I'll see you again in another video. Take care of yourselves and one another. Bye.